Hi everybody, my name is Maren and this is going to be a Vinyasa class. It's going to be a little bit on the slower side and all levels are always welcome. If you are a beginner, I definitely recommend having a block nearby. You can use these every time we put our hand on the floor to give yourself some extra lift to bring the floor to you. It's really helpful. And also just listen to your body. You're going to hear yogis say that all the time, but it's really about not pushing yourself too hard, too fast, listening to what feels right, what feels good, and if I suggest something that doesn't work for you, don't do it. I am playing, my music today is called Soul 3, S-O-L, number 3. It's under my Spotify, Maren Leah, M-A-R-E-N-L-E-A-H. And I love this playlist. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Jeffrey Oyema, but there's 2 songs by him in here, and that music, it's just pretty powerful stuff. It's pretty great. This is not a lyric heavy soundtrack. That's not really the word I was looking for, but you know what I'm saying. But because I prefer sometimes with slower moving Vinyasa classes, less lyrics, and I definitely feel like that can be helpful for a newer practitioner or anybody, intermediate, advanced, whoever doesn't like lyrics in their yoga classes. Sometimes it can really detract from being in the moment, especially if in your mind you have to start to sing along, because that's something that happens to me. And then you kind of lose your connection to the pose, your breath, you being on the mat. Instead, you're somewhere else singing the song. So, which is great for a lot of things, but when we're trying to really be connected here, that can be less beneficial. So we're gonna, if you would like to play the soundtrack, it's available to you. There's also other soundtracks that I have made public all over my Spotify. So it's really what works best for you. We're gonna count down from 3. After I hit 1, there's a pause, and then we'll press play so that we're all on the same page. Okay, so it's 3, 2, 1, play. Beautiful. Let's begin in child's pose. Knees out wide, big toes to touch in the back, your chest and belly sinking down between your knees. And just let your forehead come down to the floor. If this is too much on your shoulders or your hips, you can bring your knees closer together. You can even wrap your hands back behind you, grab your ankles, let your shoulders fall towards the floor. So just start to settle in here, start to arrive. There have been a few studies that have been conducted likening meditation to prayer. That's because it lights up the same part of the brain. It calms the central nervous system. It lowers blood pressure. Same can be said for that sound Om that you hear people saying in yoga class. So that Om does many things. The same as meditation, and the same as chanting or praying. It focuses our mind inward. It calms our bodies, our breaths. And it physically makes us healthier. So So just for a moment, we'll do one Om together. You don't have to ever do it with us. But maybe if you're alone, if you feel comfortable, you'll have the freedom inside of you to just let it all go. So the Om has separate parts. There's an O part and then the part. And just like with prayer and even meditation, that part of the Om, especially the part, it's just like humming, and it actually loosens all of the nasal passages. So if you're stuffed up, this is a great way to not be stuffed up anymore. Loosens the mucus and releases all those membranes. But that Om also connects us deep within. Let's try one together while you're in child's pose. Deep inhale through your mouth, and then just exhale through your mouth. Beautiful. Now inhale through your nose, and then open your mouth, let it go. Wonderful. Now this time, inhale through your nose, hold it at the top, and then say Om with me. Om. Beautiful. Let's take a few deep, full breaths together once again. This time, inhale deeply through your nose. And then open your mouth and just let it go. Now inhale gently through your nose, deeply, all the way in. Gently close your lips, and then exhale through your nose, creating an oceanic sound. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose. This is Ujjayi Pranayama breath. The breath that builds heat in our bodies from the inside out. It lights a fire within us. But it also connects us to our mat, to our bodies. It brings us back to this space. So when you start thinking about something else, maybe how you look or comparing yourself to an Instagram picture of how you think something should look, let that go. Don't be hard on yourself. Just come back to this breath. Now when you exhale, exhale so completely that your lower belly sucks in and up. That's the Uddiyana Bandha. And then pull up on the base of your spine, the Mula Bandha, and together those two bandhas create an energy lock inside of you. Keep that with you throughout this class. With your next inhale, come up onto all fours. Your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Inhale, drop your belly, spread your chest, look up, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, cat pose. Again, inhale, arch your back, spread your chest, look up. Exhale, push your palms down, push your spine up. Now come to a flat back, a neutral spine. Tuck your toes under right here. And then with your inhale, just lift your knees up to a hover. So you're turning your belly on. Everything is squeezed in. Think about knitting your ribs inward, so you're pulling them in. One more inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up and back, right into downward facing dog. This big inverted V shape. You can shake your head a little bit here, releasing your neck, pushing your palms down into the floor, especially that spot in between your first finger and thumb. It's okay if your heels in the back don't touch. You're feeling the lengthening in the backs of your legs, like weights are pulling them down towards the floor. Every inhale, think about tilting your tailbone up. And then every exhale, press your chest closer to your thighs. You could walk out your feet one at a time. Some people call this walking your dog, bending a knee, connecting to your hamstrings. And start to come to stillness in this downward facing dog. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, drop your heels to the right. So notice where you feel this, maybe on the outside of your left leg. Inhale, come up high on your toes. And then exhale, drop your heels to the left. Inhale, come up high on your toes, look between your hands, and as you exhale, tiptoe your way up to the top of your mat. Once you get there, step your feet 2 fists distance apart. Maybe you have a deep bend in your knees, that's okay. You do what feels right for you here. Now grab your elbows and start to sway side to side. Shake your head yes, shake your head no again. So you're releasing all the muscles in your upper body, letting the weight of your arms pull the crown of your head down towards the floor. Then shake your head yes one more time. With your exhale, let your hands come down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, so your hands can come to your thighs or maybe your shins, and you're extending your spine forward. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper this time. Inhale, with a bent knee, slowly roll up to standing. Your head comes up last. And then reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, thumb knuckles against your heart. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. This is where we set our intention for this beautiful practice. What brought you here today? And what do you want to walk off your mat with? Maybe it's a phrase or a word like calmness or flexibility, mentally and physically. Whatever it is, it's yours. So keep that with you throughout class. Let's take one deep, full breath together right here. Inhale deeply through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. Flutter your eyes open. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. Now with your exhale, grab your left wrist with your right hand and pull to the right. So we're taking a side bend. Opening up your left side body, you're turning your chest towards the ceiling. Inhale, come back to center, switch out your grip, and then exhale, side bend to the left. Again, opening up your chest. Inhale, come back to center, release your hands back behind you. Fingertips can face down or up. With your next inhale, create space so you're lifting up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, lean back as you're pressing your hips forward. So squeeze your tush in, protecting your lower back. If you want to release your head back as that feels good, you can. You also don't have to. Inhale, slowly start to lift back up. And then exhale, forward fold as your hands trace the backs of your legs. You can take a deep bend in your knees every single time we bend. Inhale, halfway lift, preparing the spine. Look over the tip of your nose. Exhale, your hands come down to the floor. Step your right foot back, then your left foot back to meet it. You're in high plank. You can always drop your knees down if you need to here. With your exhale, you're bringing your elbows in towards your body, coming into chaturanga. You're coming to a hover. Inhale, scoop your chest through. Tops of your feet come down to the floor. Look up, upward facing dog. If you need your thighs on the floor, you can do that too. But I urge you to try at least to press the tops of your feet into the floor to lift your thighs. Exhale, tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep, full breaths. Come back to that Ujjayi breath. It's in through the nose and out through the nose. One of the cool things that yoga does for us, going through all of these asanas, is it calms the fluctuations of the brain. The same thing for meditation, for saying prayers. Deep, full breaths. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and you can step or jump up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up to standing, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, back to center. This time, goal post your arms and take a baby back bend that way. So your arms look like this. Elbow to shoulder, shoulder to elbow in line. Take a baby back bend. Inhale, slowly start to stand back up. Arms lift up. Exhale, forward fold as your hands pass through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, your hands come down to the floor. You can step back to high plank. If you'd like to jump right back to chaturanga. Come down with your exhale. Inhale, pull your chest through, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over your toes, hips go to the sky, downward facing dog. This is your reset button. Deep, full breaths. Your home base right here. And it's active. You're pressing your palms into the floor. You're pressing your arms away from you as you're pushing your tailbone up. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up to standing, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, side bend right. Any variation that works best for you. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, come back to center. Take your baby back bend. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Step or jump back, Vinyasa. If at any point I suggest a Vinyasa and you have had enough, maybe in your shoulders or you're feeling tired, that's okay. Come right to downward dog. You can skip that whole part. Remember, this is your practice. So even if you sat the entire time on your mat just breathing, you will still walk out of here feeling better than when you walked in. This is a breathing class first and foremost. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up to standing, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Again, any variation that works for you. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Take a baby back bend. And then exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down, Vinyasa. So the purpose of this Sun A, you're warming up your body, especially your spine. Deep, full breaths. Maybe you take a moment right here to picture all the people doing a Sun A yoga right now. The Virabhadrasana A. Picture everybody doing it across the world because there are people everywhere practicing the same thing that we are practicing right now. Inhale, come up high on your toes. That's a pretty magical thing. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now this time with your exhale, bend your knees. And then inhale, reach your arms up, look up, right into chair pose. So your hips are low, you're sitting low, and your tailbone is tucked under, but notice if your knees are forward, pull them back. Now everybody's biology is a little bit different here. So this is easier for some, harder for others. That's okay. All your weight is back towards your heels, so lift up all 10 toes. Your chest is lifted. One more deep, full breath in. Now with your exhale, bring your hands to your heart and twist to the right, hooking your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Use that leverage here. Inhale, come back to center. Eyes are lifted. Exhale, hands to your heart and twist to the left. So the drishti matters. You're looking up here as you twist. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, your hands come down to the floor. Vinyasa, or step right back to downward dog. Awesome, guys. Inhale, your right leg lifts high to the sky. Exhale, pull your right knee in towards your chest, towards your chin even. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, that right knee goes to your right elbow. Get it up high, maybe your armpit. Inhale, send it back. And then exhale, swing it to your left elbow. Get it up high. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, knee in towards your nose and step it through. So the good thing about yoga is we use a lot of core muscles. That's really important in yoga. And actually it turns out that that is really important for the frontal lobe, the prefrontal cortex, that core strength and using your core is actually amazing for your mental health, not just your physical health. Beautiful. From right here, from this lunge, drop your back knee down. You can tuck or untuck your nose, see your toes, see what feels better in your kneecap here. Then with your inhale, reach your arms up right into low lunge. Your chest is lifted. Your right knee is stacked on top of your right heel or right ankle, okay? So it's okay if it's a little further back. Try not to go too far forward. I mean, I'm not a huge stickler for it because we have poses like Malasana, which is yogi squat, where our knees go past that joint. So just listen to your body, listen to your knee. Chest is lifted. One more inhale. Exhale, your hands come down to the floor and sit your hips back as you straighten your right leg, right toes pointed up towards the ceiling. Now you can stay up high like this with your hips, or maybe you sit them down low. You do what works best for you as long as you're getting it in the back of your right leg. Just fold. Let your head release and breathe. Beautiful. Bring your hands to the floor if they weren't already there. Start to walk your hands forward as you bend back into your right knee. Your palms plant on either side of your right foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, and then lift your hips back as you straighten your front leg, right into pyramid pose. So your back toes are about a 45-degree angle out. Your right toes are facing the front of the mat. And just fold here. Go as far as what works. A light bend in your front knee. If you need a little bit more of a bend, you take it. Deep, full breathing here. Slowly start to bend back into your right knee. You come up high on your back toes. Then step your right foot back to meet your left. Chaturanga with your exhale. Inhale, chest pulls through, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg lifts. Exhale, your knee in towards your nose. Squeeze it in. Inhale, send it back. Remember, these core exercises are so important. Left knee, left elbow, squeeze. Inhale, send it back. And then exhale, your knee across your body. You're squeezing your core. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, knee in towards your nose and gently heel toe your foot between your hands. Now just sit here in the lunge just for a moment, opening up your hip, and then drop your back knee down. Tuck or untuck those back toes. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up, low lunge. Again, your chest is lifted. Think about isometrically squeezing your thighs as you're pulling your left hip back, pressing your right hip forward. So you're actually squaring off your hips towards the front of your mat. And then think about turning your pinkies in a little bit so that engages your arms as they are lifted up. Energy shooting out from your fingertips. Next, exhale, bring your hands down to the floor and sit your hips back right into that half split. Remember, hips can stay up or you can come down. It doesn't mean this is better by any stretch. In fact, most of the time I feel it more like this with my hips up because I can get deeper into the hamstring. So you do you do what's best for you. For me, the sitting is nice sometimes, like a rest. So just keep breathing. You're feeling it in the back of your left leg. If your hands are not in front of you, bring them forward. Walk them towards your left foot. Bend back into your left knee. Your hands now frame out your left foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, and then shift your hips back as you straighten your front leg. Right into that pyramid pose. If your back toes are facing the front of the mat and it doesn't feel great for you, just turn them slightly out to the right, that 45-degree angle. You do what's best for you here. Everybody's hips are different. So there's never a right and wrong way if it's working in your body. I just urge you to listen. Obviously, teachers are here to try to prevent injury, but you know your body better than anyone. So just listen. Beautiful. Slowly start to bend back into your front knee. You're coming up high on your back toes. And then step your left foot back to meet your right. Try to do that with a squeezed in core so your back doesn't drop down into a back bend or round up. So you're squeezing everything in. Exhale, chaturanga. We take the vinyasa. Awesome, guys. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees and travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, twist to the right. So we're doing one breath, one movement. You can go as slow or as fast as you want. Inhale, arms reach. And then exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down, vinyasa. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee in towards your nose. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, back. Make sure you're breathing. Exhale, across. Inhale, back. Exhale, and you step it through. Inhale into your low lunge. Back knee is down. Exhale into your half splits. Inhale right into that pyramid pose. Hands come down to the floor. Step your right foot back as you exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, back. Exhale, knee across. Inhale, back. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, low lunge, you're lifting. Exhale, you sit back and fold. Inhale, pyramid pose, folding. Walk your hands forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog, that inverted V shape. Deep, full breaths right here. Loud ujjayi breathing. We'll go through that one more time, the Sun B. The purpose of Sun B is to open up the hips. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Remember, one breath, one movement. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, chair twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, chair twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down, vinyasa. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, send it back. Exhale to the right. Inhale, back, create space. Exhale, tense it in. Inhale, send it back. And then exhale, squeeze it in again and step it through. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, pyramid pose. Exhale, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, back. Exhale, core engaged. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, this time we cross. Inhale, send it back. Exhale and step it through. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, pyramid pose. Exhale, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. If you need to bring your knees down to child's pose, do that right now. Otherwise, stay right here in downward facing dog. Deep, full breaths in through your nose, out through your nose. Maybe you start to count 4 seconds in, hold it at the top, 4 seconds out. So we work hard, one breath to one movement, almost mimicking stress. So our heart is beating fast, and now we're using our breath to calm our heart, because when we can do this on the mat with physical activity, that physical stress, that emotional response, then we can do that off of the mat when everything's real, when something doesn't go right, when you're in the middle of a fight, when there's pain. You use this breath to slow your heart. Notice the difference right here. Notice your breath. Feel it beating slower. Inhale, your right leg lifts high to the sky. Exhale, bring your knee in towards your nose and then gently step it between your hands. Now this time you're staying high up on your left toes. So you might want to step them out towards the side of your mat a little bit. A wider base can be really helpful for balance. And then inhale, reach your arms up. You're keeping a deep bend in your front knee. And just like before, we're pulling our right hip back as you're pressing your left hip forward, trying to straighten and engage that back leg. Chest is lifted, fingertips are reaching up. Deep, full breaths here. It's supposed to be uncomfortable because that's where growth happens. That discomfort, it's okay. And also when you can get used to discomfort and be comfortable and lean into discomfort on the mat, and you won't be so afraid of it off the mat. One more inhale. Exhale, let your back heel dial down so your hips turn to the left. And then bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Your left arm reaches up, extended side angle. Almost like your arm is giving a swim stroke here. But you're using the leverage to twist your chest open towards the ceiling. Your right palm can come down towards the floor as long as it doesn't mean you're rounding down. So we're still opening up towards the sky or towards the ceiling, towards the universe. A deep twist here. And push down onto the pinky side of your back foot so your whole back leg is engaged. Keep that deep bend in your front knee. Beautiful. One more inhale, reach a little further. If you want more, maybe you extend your right arm long. Now with your exhale, look down at your right foot because that's where we're going. We're going to bring our right palm in front of our right foot and then off a little to the right as we launch up off of our back leg. So with your inhale, come up high on that back toe and then kick it up into the air. You're stacking your left side, your whole left side on top of your right. Think about stacking that left hip on top of your right hip as you're rolling it under your body. Your left fingertips are reaching and you're leaning back like there's a wall behind you. Your back foot is flexed so that leg is engaged. You can even do a doll foot. You'll see me do that a lot. I'm pressing the ball of my foot away from my body and separating my toes. That's called yogi toes. If you have chapasana, and want to take that now, bend your back knee and reach for it with your left hand. And come into that sugar cane pose. Gaze is still lifted, so that's your drishti. You're looking up. If you're holding on, release gently. Right into that half moon. We're going to take a huge step with your left leg. So on your exhale, step that left foot back towards the back of your mat and bend both knees. Your toes are facing out, right into a goddess squat. So your knees are opening wide. You're goalposting your arms. You can take a mudra if you'd like. It's good for any kind of intuition. Look right here, we're in line again, just like I said before. Elbow, shoulder, shoulder, elbow. And sit down low, tucking your tailbone under. Maybe you close your eyes here. That shaking you're feeling, that's good. Embrace the shake, that's you getting stronger. With your next inhale, straighten your legs, lift your arms up, star pose. Chest is lifted, gaze is lifted. And then with your exhale and a flat back, start to hinge forward, right into a wide leg forward fold. And you can turn your toes in just a little bit. So they were out, just turn them in towards the side of your mat. Take any variation you want. Maybe you walk your hands over to your left or right foot, and then do the other side. So do what works best for you. If you have a headstand practice and would like to take that, you could take that right now. I also love a good wide leg downward dog, where you walk your hands away from you and let your chest drop towards the floor. That feels great. Now play with your balance. Weight towards your heels, weight towards your toes. Beautiful. With your next inhale, walk your hands back in and plant them down underneath your shoulders. Beautiful. Now, we're going to be turning towards the back of your mat, so towards the left. So start to bend into your left knee and turn your left toes towards the back of your mat. Walk your hands towards the back of your mat. So we're coming into a lunge. You're high up on your back toes, and then lift your chest up. Now bring your hands to your heart and then twist, hooking your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Gaze is lifted. This is crescent twist here. You're high on your back toes. Keep breathing. Every time we squeeze, we twist, think of your organs like sponges, right? We're moving, we're kinking, so old blood rushes out, new blood rushes in. Think about pressing your palms towards your heart, thumb knuckles pressed against your heart here. So notice if your hands are in front of you or behind you or up or down, try to keep them at your sternum. One more inhale. Beautiful. Exhale, release your hands to the floor. So what we're going to be doing is launching up off of our back leg. If you don't want to bring your hands down and you want to challenge yourself, you can do that right from the crescent twist. You're going to launch up off of your back leg, bringing your right knee in towards your chest. Now you can reach down with your right hand and grab your right knee. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, reach for your big toe using your peace sign fingers, and then extend your leg out. Deep, full breaths. So focus on one tiny little spot that's not moving. Notice if your right hip is pulling out, and try to press it down. Squeezing your thighs together, rooting down your left foot so all four corners are pressing down. Standing hand to big toe. Now with your exhale, slowly open up your hip. So you're swinging your hand and your foot to the right. I have a wall here, so it's kind of in the way. Deep, full breathing. With your next inhale, slowly bring it back to center. Release your foot or your knee, and then swing your right leg back as your hands come down. Let your right toes come down to the floor. Step your left foot back to meet it, Vinyasa. Ooh, take some deep, full breaths right here. Is your mind still here? Is your breath still here? Here we go, last side, so we have to make it count. Every side counts every time. And don't be surprised if poses feel different on this side. That is totally normal. Every time we face the back of the mat, we start with our left leg. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Remember, you can widen your stance. Think train tracks, not tightrope here. Inhale, arms reach up. So again, you can step that foot out to the side a little bit more for some extra support. Deep bend in your front knee. Pressing your right hip forward, pulling your left hip back. Fingertips are reaching, chest is lifted, almost baby back bend here, so you'll feel that in your lower back. Come to your breath, drishti is up, and breathe. Feel free to always close your eyes. Sometimes I'll do an entire yoga class, mostly with my eyes closed, if that helps bring you back to your body. Less visual input can be so helpful. With your next exhale, dial your back heel down. You're opening up your hip to the right, and then your left forearm comes to your left thigh. Right arm reaches up, extended side angle. So you're twisting open. Any variation here. Remember, if you really want to use your core, reach both arms away from you like you're holding a beach ball. Beautiful. One more inhale. Exhale, look down. Inhale, you're launching up off of your back leg right into that half moon. Again, your right arm stacking on top of your left arm. Your right hip stacking on top of your left hip. So you'll really feel that in your left hip muscles. If you would like to take Chapasana, go for it. Otherwise, stay right where you are. Gaze is lifted up towards the universe. This is a perfect place if you need a block. So every time we do a balancing pose, you can take it using the block. It brings the floor to you. And you don't have to do it on the highest level. You can do it on the middle, you can do it on the lowest, or you can do it not at all. There's no shame in the modification game here. Deep, full breaths. I know yogis that have practiced for 30 years that use blocks and love blocks. It's not about how good you are. If you have your foot, release it. Awesome, guys. Now we're taking a huge step with your back foot all the way back towards the front of the mat. Deep bend in your knees, goddess squat. Sink down really low here. Toes are pointed out. And think about pressing your knees back behind you, so you're pressing them away from you. Close your eyes maybe, and breathe. Maybe you come up with your inhale, letting your left heel come up. Exhale, left heel comes down. Inhale, right heel comes up. Exhale, let it come down. Inhale, both heels up. Yeah, you're going to shake. It's okay. If you fall out of it, come back into it. Exhale, heels come down. Straighten your legs. Lift your arms up. Look up. This time, interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, arch your back, spread your chest. Exhale, start to hinge forward, winding your arms overhead, getting a deep shoulder stretch and a deep hamstring stretch here. Deep, full breaths. Awesome, guys. If you have your hands, gently release them towards the floor. Plant your palms underneath your shoulders. This is where we change sides. So we're going to walk our hands towards the front of the mat as your right toes turn. So we're back in that lunge, facing the front of your mat. You're up high on your back toes. Now engage your core, lift your chest, hands come to your heart, and then twist. This time you're hooking your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Gaze is lifted. Look up. Thumb knuckles pressed against your heart. Maybe you try to detect your heartbeat right here. Maybe you close your eyes or take a bind or a half bind. You do you. Remember, it's okay if this side feels tighter or looser than the other side. Beautiful. Here comes that big standing pose. So look down at your right foot. We're going to launch up off of our back leg. You can do that by bringing your hands to the mat and then slowly lifting up, bringing your left knee into your chest, or maybe you do that in one swift motion. You can grab your knee or grab your big toe. I'm doing the wrong side. There we go. Left hand to your left foot. Focus on one little spot that's not moving. That loud breath. Make sure it's audible, that somebody in the next room could hear it and could sound like the ocean. Like you're fogging up a glass, but with your mouth closed. One more inhale. Exhale, open up your left hip. Maybe your gaze shifts to the right. slowly start to bring it back to center. Release your foot and swing it back behind you as your hands come down to the floor. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Vinyasa. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees and step or jump through to a seat at the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. And then using a flat back, with your exhale, start to hinge forward. So try not to round down right away. You're creating space like strings pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And you can bend your knees. This is actually a great place if you have a belt or a strap or even a shirt or a towel. You can wrap it around your feet and pull yourself closer to your feet. But think about flexing your feet, toes pointed up towards your face. Keep breathing. Loud Ujjayi breathing. Feel your heartbeat start to slow. Inhale, slowly start to sit back up. Now the next pose we're going to take, some people call fire log. It's a double pigeon. This is my least favorite pose out of all of them, but that means that I need it the most. That's what yoga teachers say, and it's true, because the ones that are really uncomfortable are the ones that your body needs. So you're gonna bend your right leg and bring your foot in underneath your left leg. Now you're gonna stack your left leg on top. So it's gonna be your ankle stacking on top of your knee. Something I like to do is place a towel underneath here because the bone of my ankle can be really uncomfortable. So make sure your foot is hanging off. For some people, this is very easy and comfortable, but this isn't exactly right in the hips. You want that ankle, that foot hanging off. For some people, it's gonna look like this. That's okay. It doesn't matter what it looks like at all. If you wanna use a block, you can place a block right here to give you that extra support so that you can rest this knee down. And I'll show you what it looks like with, here's a sweatshirt. Just place the sweatshirt under here, and it takes that pinch away of the ankle pressing down against your knee. At least it helps me. But think about getting both shins as close to parallel as possible. With your inhale, lift your chest up. Your hands are at your sides. And then exhale, start to hinge forward, walking your hands away from you. Coming right into that fire log, that double pigeon pose. You should feel that deep hip opening in your left hip, the outside of your left hip. If you don't feel it, try to shift your legs more parallel to the top of your mat. And breathe. Come back to that counting if that helps you. Slowly start to walk your hands back in towards your body. And now you're going to extend your bottom leg, your right leg long. And bring your left foot in towards your thigh. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. And then exhale, turn your chest towards your extended leg and fold as you press your knee away from you, your left knee. So you're getting that opposite hip opening here. Also feel that extension of your side body, your left side body opening up. And then walk your hands back in. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Reach down and open your feet like you're opening a book. So you're showing the bottoms of your feet towards the ceiling. Yes, exactly. Your fingertips are wrapped around your feet. Inhale, lift your chest, look up. Exhale, start to hinge forward. You can use your elbows to push your knees further apart and fold. And slowly start to sit back up. We have the other side. So you had last time, your left leg was on top. We're doing the other one. So your left leg is on the bottom. Right leg is stacked on top. Again, it's okay if this doesn't feel the same as it did on the other side. Maybe this time your knee is up further towards your chest. Totally normal. If you want to place a block in between your foot and your thigh, great. If you want to put a towel underneath your ankle, great. You do you here. You do what works best for you. But it's supposed to feel uncomfortable because that's your hips. Those are your hips opening. That deep hip opening. Hands come to your sides. Inhale, lift your chest. And then exhale, fold. Walk your hands away from you. You guys are doing great. I know you have an urge to fidget, to shift, to move. Try to use your breath to let go of that urge, to completely surrender your hips down and release. Start to walk your hands back in. Now we're extending our bottom leg, left leg long. Your right foot comes to the inside of your thigh. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up, turn towards your extended leg, and then exhale, fold as you're pulling your toes towards your face, flat back. If you want a little extra opening in your right side body, maybe you walk your hands to the outside of your leg. Think about pressing your right knee down towards the floor. And slowly start to walk your hands back up. Extend both legs out long. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. And then exhale as slow as you can, using your core. Roll all the way down onto your back, onto the mat. Once you get there, bring your right knee in towards your chest and squeeze it in towards your right armpit. Maybe take some circles with your ankle, with your knee. You can even try a half happy baby. So you can just grab your thigh and pull it down, or maybe you grab for the outside of your right foot and pull your knee towards your armpit. When you're ready, release your foot if you have it. Using your left hand, guide your right knee across your body into supine twist. Turn your head towards the right. Let both shoulders melt down towards the floor. Slowly roll back onto your back. Squeeze your right knee in again. And release with your exhale. Inhale, your left knee comes in. I urge you to close your eyes here or soften your gaze and just let go of what you look like, what's happening. Try that half happy baby, maybe on this side. And when you're ready, use your right hand and guide your knee across your body. Extend your left arm long and turn your head to the left, letting both shoulders melt down. And inhale, slowly roll back onto your back. Squeeze that left knee in one more time. And then exhale, release it down to the floor. You've made it to Savasana. Bring your feet to the corners of your mat, arms away from your body, palms up to receive the energy of the room, or palms down to ground you if you need some grounding. If maybe you're feeling lofty or your brain is racing, this is a perfect pose for that, pressing your palms down. So get into a comfortable, relaxing shape. If this is not great on your lower back, you can always bring your feet to the mat. Let your knees fall in towards each other. And close your eyes and use this rest, this Savasana, as a relaxing meditation, as that calming moment, letting your blood pressure go down, your central nervous system start to release a little bit more. Let your breath be what it needs to be as your body absorbs every single thing we just did. I will call you out of Savasana when it's time. So it's okay to get into a deep, full rest. start to bring some awareness back into the room. Notice your body pressing down into the floor. Notice the air on your skin. Start to deepen your breath. For a moment, check in, see how different you feel from when you started this class. What feels looser? What feels more open, maybe more raw? When you're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll out your ankles and wrists. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, point your toes towards the front of the room, take a full body stretch. Exhale, bring your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins, give yourself a hug. This moment of gratitude because you showed up today. You could have been a million other places, but you chose to be here. When you're ready, roll onto your right or your left side, whatever side you need right here. It's the side of new beginnings. You can use your bicep as a pillow. And using your hands, push your way up to a comfortable seat. Hands come to heart center. Eyes stay closed or your gaze softened. We'll take one Om together. It's always optional. Inhale deeply through your nose. Open your mouth and say it with me. Om. You are loved, you are brave, and you are enough. The love and light within me honors and respects the love and light within you. And it is with this love and light that we are all connected. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. I hope everybody feels great. You can unmute yourself. I made it so that you can unmute yourself. If you have any questions or concerns, let me